What has happened in the banking sector may, in a way, look a little bit, surprising to the consumers and the general public, partly because of the fact that there was, towards the end of last year, there was the issue of Imperial Bank, then there was Dubai Bank just before that, and now Chase Bank and the other developments. And I think it tends to give the impression that it's possibly a systemic problem. But the critical thing is the fact that these are isolated cases with specific challenges that have hit the specific banks, and therefore they can be resolved specifically with the individual institutions, and the whole banking sector is sound and solid.
So we're looking at Chase Bank that did republish its results as well. That was 2 days ago in the press, and that actually even raised more questions. Social media was abuzz with a lot of people on Twitter as well as the other social media platforms saying they were going to withdraw their money from Chase Bank. But speculation and also what exactly is the real story? Are we really giving the real story when we have to even republish results in case of financial institutions?
If you pick the example of Chase Bank, where there was a restatement of numbers, subsequently followed by the resignation of the chairman and the group CEO, and that sort of like led the market to panic. And what then happened was that there was a lot of misinformation and inaccurate circulation of information in the social media especially, which just worsened the situation. Now, by the end of the day, because of the panic in the market and the fact that there was a rush to withdraw deposits from Chase Bank, they could not meet the obligations at the clearinghouse by end of day. And therefore, the critical thing for central bank to do in a situation like this in order to protect the depositors is to move in and appoint a receiver in order to take over the running of the institution in order to protect the depositors.
All right. And Chase Bank is not the first bank to be placed under receivership. We did see Dubai Bank in August of 2015, and we also saw 2 months after that, Imperial Bank was also placed under receivership, making Chase Bank the third bank to be placed under receivership. So what exactly is happening in the banking industry with all the irregularities, misreporting of the results, or rather, giving us a different picture from what exactly is happening with the books for these lenders?
Yeah, I think the critical thing is the fact that, as I mentioned, this is not a systemic problem. It's a problem that is specific to the specific institutions. If you look at Dubai, it had some specific challenges which were addressed by central bank moving in. There was the case of Imperial Bank. Similarly, there were specific challenges that were facing the institution for which central bank moved in and made a specific action. And similarly, Chase Bank. Chase Bank is an unfortunate case because ideally the problem could have been solved in a much more less unsettling way to the market. But in view of the fact that there was already information flowing around in the market about the, most of which was inaccurate, it led to the panic withdrawal of money from the bank, and therefore led to the decision by central bank to move in and protect the depositors.
All right. So there's been also questions raised about Kenya being overbanked. We have currently, if we're going to let out Chase Bank, that leaves us with about 41 banking institutions in the country today. Does this mean that Kenya is overbanked from your perspective?
I think the issue of overbanking or being underbanked, there isn't a specific number that you can, give as a recommended number of, banks per level of population or per, the economic level. Occasionally, I've seen people compare Kenyan market to Nigeria and to South Africa and say that in that case, then compared to the size of the market vis-a-vis the number of banks in the sector, we seem to be overbanked. But thinking about it, strictly speaking, Kenya is done very well in terms of financial inclusion. We are way ahead of the other comparable markets in South Africa as well as Nigeria. And that's because we are able to access consumers who would otherwise not have been able to access formal financial services. And I think on that score, the argument about Kenya being overbanked possibly does not hold water. However, it is a discussion that we should critically analyze and agree on a possible direction in which we should move as an economy.
Right. Okay, so there's been also the question of whether or not we should be looking at a situation where you are playing a role in ensuring that some of these banking institutions do comply by the financial obligations that are required of them. But what role are you playing currently to ensure that that happens?
That the Kenya Bankers Association plays a distinct role from the role that the regulator plays. Mm-hmm. The regulator is mandated to play a specific role in terms of supervising the institutions to ensure that they comply as per the law and the regulation that central bank issues from time to time.
All right, and that is Habil Olaka, the Chief Executive Officer of Kenya Bankers Association, giving his views on what's happening in the banking industry. But now, to conclude our conversation, I would like to bring in our City Center guest who's joining us from our City Center studio. That is Joy Kiru. Joy, what is the way forward now that we are seeing the banking industry going through this whole major cleanup by the regulator, that is CBK?
Thank you very much. Way forward, number one, rebuild confidence, reassure Kenyans that all is well, that that what is happening is a cleanup exercise to strengthen the banking institution, to strengthen the regulation, and to make sure that financial regulations work for both Kenyans and the economy. Way forward, number two, we need more education to Kenyans on what exactly is happening, so that we don't keep on depending on social media, and we need some kind of information on the technical implications of this, and we need to know what exactly went wrong with those isolated cases so that we can make informed decisions on whether my bank is safe or not. Otherwise, it's a lot of speculation. So that would be a very good way forward. In future, we would like to see a little bit more discretion. It's okay for the central bank governor to do a cleanup exercise, but as an economist, I would appreciate if the expectations of Kenyans are not raised to levels where they don't understand what is happening. In that case, it would be nice not to bring in too much information of what is happening to the to a population which may not understand the issues. Right, rather, we would like to a result-based financial regulation.
Maurice, when it comes to competition for profits, that we've seen banks as well releasing results and the other wanting to outdo the other. How do we go about that? You can probably march that with a way forward on how exactly you think the banking industry should be dealt with.
I think if you look at how Kenyan banking industry has always been, there have been a lot of competition. And we've been seeing even some of the foreign banks coming into the country, they're getting the competition too tough for them. And now we've seen a situation where even Kenyan banks used to compete even in terms of who will release annual results first and will record what growth. But now when it comes to now timing releases so that you manipulate the books, I think it's not the best way of doing business. All reports are, all Kenyan institutions have to report within the IFRS framework and have to report within the prudential guideline, with the CBK guideline, and all ethics also has to come in so that we ensure that the information we are giving out are the true figures and the figure that one person can use to make investment decision of which bank to bank with and what to do in case you face a specific situation. Right. The way forward for me concerning the situation that we are currently facing, one is to build confidence, and you can build confidence by sharing information. Share that information is power. Then number two, Kenyans need to be educated to ensure that now we are from a period of growth, robust, serious growth, and now we are moving to a period where now we have to stabilize everything, and we have to be within specific framework. It has to be above board, and risk-based supervision now has to come in so that we continue having sound financial institution for the Kenyan economy to grow, to play again, to play the role of financial intermediation.
Great. Well, thank you both so much for joining us on this special report that we had today regarding the banking industry in the country today. Joy Kiru, who is an economist here in Kenya, and Maurice Odwar, who is the investment manager at Saiton Investments. Thank you all so much for joining us here at KTN News. Let's now wind this up by taking a look at what some of you were saying on social media today after Chase Bank was placed under receivership. And our social media reporter, that is Zinzi, is now here to tell us more about it. Zinzi, take us through it very quickly.
Boy. Hi, Joy.
Hi.
So, of course, today has been a serious day, but of course, KOT being Kenyans on Twitter, you know, the fourth most active guys on the continent, you know, we like to put a bit of, you know, a bit of sarcasm towards it.
Yeah.
And when the Super Bowl comes up, you take a look at some of the tweets. Some of them are hilarious. Some are saying, "Oh my goodness, I am praying my you know, my landlord banks with Chase Bank. You know, some are now putting money within their socks because it's safer
I know,
underneath the mattress."
very interesting pictures. So,
Right?
let's take a look at some of them. Are these some of them? This is David Ohito, actually,
Yeah.
who is saying, when banks collapse, I ask several questions. Where did auditors go wrong? Why did regulators slip on the job? Which ban is safe?
Exactly.
Hashtag
Chase Bank.
All right,
Now
I'll
this
let you do the rest of them.
All right, let's go to the next slide. That's just some of the conversation. Guys are asking the tough questions because at the end of the day, honestly, Joy, people are really hurting when it comes to this. I am
Right.
so appalled by people who we call experts trying to castigate social media. For Chase Bank was like social media stole 13 billion. Now that's another conversation that is happening. Yes, Chase Bank was trending, but social media was also trending because guys are saying, do we need to regulate social media because of what people are saying in regards to Chase Bank? And I think that tweet really does it very well. It's not social media that stole 13, billion
Right.
Kenyan shillings.
And Winnie Kabintia is saying small banks are crippling. This will trigger a bank run as people move their money to big banks, monopoly beckoning. There we go.
All right, just on WhatsApp, one thing that is going around is that a list of referral banks that are safe. River banks, power banks, data banks, piggy banks, the rapper Lloyd banks are entire banks. You know, a bit
Right.
of sarcasm in there.
Okay, and we're going to wind up with that video of the day, right?
Yes, the video of the day. It it's from South Park. It kind of shows what is happening right now within the banking system. You know, with all your money, it's gone, it's all gone. You know, just a bit of humor behind it.
All right, I don't know if we have that video. Probably it could be one that could let us into a Friday, I guess. It's been quite a tough day with people not knowing where their money is.
Exactly.
What is it about exactly?
Well, the video kind of shows, you know, the father within South Park who is taking his small boy into the bank and say, you know what, son, it's time you learn how to bank, how to save. So the guy is like, no, but grandmother told me I could go and buy and spend whatever. No, it's time for you. So he goes to the teller and is like, you know, here's my $100.
Let's listen into it.
Awesome.
The bank so it can grow over the years.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check in a money market mutual fund. Then we'll reinvest the earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
What's all gone?
The money in your account. It didn't do too well. It's gone.
What do you mean? I have $100.
Not anymore, you don't. Poof.
Well, what can I do to get back
I'm
my...
sorry, sir, but this line is for bank members only.
I just opened an account.
Do you have any money invested with this bank?
No, you just lost it all.
Then please stand aside for people who actually have money with us. Next, please.
Hey!
Hello, Mrs. Farnickel. How are you today? Making a deposit, are we? Great. We can just put that into your retirement account and make it go to work for you, and it's gone.
What?
Sorry, yeah, that's gone. Please step aside for people who actually have money with the bank. Next, please.
Dad!
Hey, I'm trying to teach my son the importance of savings. You already lost his money? Oh, Mr. Marsh, don't worry. We can just transfer money from your account into a portfolio with your son, and it's gone! This line is for people who have money with the bank only. Please step aside.
So, Joy, I feel like that's how Chase people are feeling. Like, oh, your money, it's all gone, it's all gone. And
gone.
look at KCB having a fun-filled time on social media with that. The only
Right.
Chase we know.
The only choice we know. Interesting, actually. It's funny how corporates just go all out
I love
on
it.
social media.
I love it. That's why I love it. And then you're saying that we need to regulate social media. Social media is the that stole the money. So,
And
yeah.
then there was the Grand Mullah over there who said that he wanted to turn central bank into a world-class central bank, and that is Patrick Njoroge. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Zinzi.
thank you so much, Joy. Joy. It
All
was
right.
fun.
And with our wind up, this edition of the special report, coming up next is KTN Prime with Ben Kitili. He's also going to be giving you updates on the latest coming out of Chase Bank being placed under receivership. My name is Joy Doreen Bira.
And my name is Nziki Biku. See you tomorrow for News Center with What's Trending.